Welcome to the Nuff Said Podcast, episode 16. This one's going to be all news and trailers, just talk about Marvel. I am Rollicking Rob Southgate. With me is...
I'm jabbing Jack Wendrowski.
Jabbing. You didn't go with jelly-like this time, so there's a big difference for you. So, Jack, we made a mistake last time. We said that we were going to be a week from then doing the next episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but we didn't have a new episode.
No, I think they're holding until after the Olympics, as well as a few other shows, too.
Right. So, this next week is going to be the new episode, and I cannot wait. So, this is when they introduce Agent Garrett, I believe.
All right.
Which is the character that was in the Elektra comics that we talked about before.
Right.
So that's going to be awesome. And then have you seen any of the... we're just going to talk about news and things here. Did you see any of the pictures of Sif?
I did not.
Okay, if you look online, probably on... I'm looking on Superhero Hype. What are you looking on?
Let's see. I've got Marvel News.
Awesome. If you look on there, you'll probably see pictures of her on the show. They have Sif, here on Earth, so they're not going to Asgard or anything, but she's in full costume, and it looks like she's fighting an SUV or something, so it looks kind of interesting. I love her. I can't wait for that episode to air. I hope that they do something with her, and it's not just a Stan Lee, oh look, it's Sif, and she bumbles away, because that would be terrible. I still don't think that's what's happening. I still think they're going to bring Stan Lee back. I think they're going to fix that, because that was just a waste.
I know. Hopefully they will come up with something a little better, but maybe he's just to that age where, that's about all we're going to get.
Nah, I don't buy it.
Yeah. Well,
I don't buy it. I think that either that was just a throwaway, which is very well what it could be, or it was just a little planted seed, and we'll see what happens. But, I've seen him on stuff. He's not done yet. He's not done. He has a lot more going. Actually, I'll tell you a funny cameo we saw this week. Molly, my daughter, and I were watching the Lego Overdrive. It's Marvel superhero Lego movie. It's like an hour, maybe less, maybe like 20 minutes. It felt like an hour, but it's really good. It's worth your time if you like those Lego movies and if you like Marvel stuff, which I know everyone listening to this does. I know everyone talking here does. It has a Stan Lee cameo even in the Lego movie.
Oh, cool.
He plays a hot dog vendor, and it's great because there's a Lego Stan Lee. You know who it is immediately. They did a really great Lego, and it's his voice for sure. And he's got a pretty big part in it. He shows up 3 times in that Lego movie, way more than he does in the Marvel movies.
So we just got cheated, really.
We did. We totally got gypped, which is why I say he was on that train for a reason. I'm really hoping that we're not done with him.
Yeah, I think we could just put that in the hope chest and see what happens.
Yeah. Oh, you have a hope chest. That's nice, Jack.
Just for Marvel Comics.
Just. Well, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
And assorted other toys.
Yeah, well, we don't want to hear about that. It's a family show. So, okay, let's just run down the trailers and the things that have been kind of going on in the news. The very first thing I want to address is something that, after we recorded last time with Jonathan, it was maybe, 10 minutes after that recording, when we did our news segment at the end,
right.
I get an email from Jonathan, and he says, you missed the biggest news story out there. And the funny thing is, the sad thing, this isn't funny, it's sad, is 10 minutes before we started podcasting, I posted it on our Facebook page. So I was actually reading about it, I posted it, and then we never talked about it. And he's like, you completely missed it. So, Jonathan, thank you for helping us out on that episode. We do want to have you back on, for sure. But beyond that, I apologize for completely missing the biggest news. Paul Bettany has announced that he is playing the Vision in Avengers Age of Ultron. So we've been talking about the Vision since we started this podcast, and we're wrong. Or I'm wrong. I'll take the heat on this one. It's not Agent Coulson. The Vision is a character that is going to show up in Age of Ultron, and Paul Bettany's playing him. Now, Paul Bettany is also the voice of Jarvis. So, yeah, it's pretty interesting. There's a lot of speculation about Ultron and about, the role of Jarvis, and knowing that the Vision is the voice of Jarvis, it really starts to tie that all together, that the Ultron is going to come out of Tony's Iron Man clothes, or Iron Man clothes. What am I, an old man here? His clothes, his black socks, and his
when I was a boy.
Yeah. So his Iron Man uniform? Armor! There we go. So it's going to come out of Iron Man's old armor. If you watch that preview really closely, you see that it looks like it's taking scrapped Iron Man armor and piecing it together to make Ultron. Okay?
Really?
Yeah. And if that's the case, then the software that's in it would still possibly have Jarvis's voice, which is why, or Jarvis should be in there, which is why you go, okay, well maybe Ultron is somehow, Jarvis gone bad. Ultron is. But then the fact that the Vision is Paul Bettany tells me that the Vision, who is robotic, is going to also come out of that. So he'll be like the good side of that armor, or whatever happens here, whatever the incident is that causes all this to happen.
Right.
Wow, and you know what? People listening now are probably pulling their hair out going, you don't know anything about this! But I'm telling you, that's kind of my interpretation. It's kind of the quick and dirty interpretation. I don't know a lot about the Vision, but I do know that he's robotic. I do know that he's tied in with Ultron somehow. I just really am excited that we are getting the Vision in this. And I also think that it lends some interesting ideas about Coulson, too. Because now we know he's clearly not the Vision. Now we have more to speculate about with him, which is exciting.
Yeah, that is cool. And, looking at some of the news things, and we've been talking not just about the Vision, but one of the other things, and I know we mentioned it out loud, was Black Widow.
Yes.
And
yes.
There's upcoming news about Scarlett Johansson, who they're developing for the role, and I'm way excited about that.
Well, it's not that she's developed for the role. She is Black Widow. She's been Black Widow in the movies, but what they're saying is in Avengers 2, she's going to have a much more prominent role. I know she has a prominent role in Winter Soldier, which is really exciting. I really like this character.
Well, when I say developing, I think they're going to expand it. They're going to put the spotlight on her.
Yes, you're right.
And
they are developing, because what they're talking about is developing a solo, standalone Black Widow movie.
Right. And
or project. See, everyone keeps talking about movie, but it very well could be that it's like a Netflix series or something like that. But it's Scarlett Johansson. I can't imagine that she's going to be doing a TV thing. I'd imagine that it's going to be a big movie. And frankly, I'm totally excited about that.
Well, here's what they say on this was from February 14th of this year, is that Marvel Studios is looking to put the spotlight on Scarlett as they are developing a film that would revolve around her character of Black Widow.
Okay, so it is specifically a film. Awesome.
It is. Studio president Kevin Feige has long been high on the character even before her role was expanded for Captain America, the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, excellent.
So she's been this isn't like, let's just put this together. It sounds like he's been kind of going in this direction for a while.
Well, that's the whole thing. And that's what I really love about these Marvel projects is they are thought out, they're methodical, there's a reason things are happening, and, maybe they were testing the waters with Black Widow to see if she'd be, a viable character to use for a film. Not that they're so thought out that they're like, yeah, we're going to slowly introduce her here and then we're going to do the movie. But they were using her. They were trying to find out, is this a character that's going to stand on its own and do something? And once they saw how well she worked, I think that in Iron Man 2, I already had my answer. I wanted to see her in a movie. I wanted to see a movie about her right there. Yeah, to me, that was it. I was sold. I loved her in that. I've liked her in every one of these movies.
And getting back to the cast of Avengers 2 with Vision, is they're also talking about the Scarlet Witch, who the Vision was married to at one time.
Yes.
So this is going to tie in, all the characters that everybody's been looking for are just going to start flying out of the woodwork.
Yeah, well, here's what's interesting with the Scarlet Witch. The Scarlet Witch is the sister of Quicksilver, and their father is Magneto. Now, they can't do Magneto in the Avengers film because Fox owns that. And in Days of Future Past, Magneto and Scarlet Witch are in that movie. Wait, well, Magneto is, but Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch are in that movie. So we've got two different actors and actresses playing Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver in these two different movies with no Magneto in the Avengers one. But the big speculation is, are they going to just ignore that? Or are we starting to see the seeds of, maybe letting that bleed over into the Marvel universe that Disney's establishing?
Well, I don't think you can discount that because, like you say, this guy owns that, this guy owns that. But Marvel is an entity in and of itself.
Yeah,
Now,
but they can't legally do it if the other studio owns the movie rights.
Yeah, but you can, there's ways to get around that. I mean, recording artists that have exclusive contracts in the 50s, there were, total ways around it. And what they can do is, mentions or little side glances or references. You don't have, now, I'm not saying that you may
Well, that's going to have to be completely worked out before it happens.
Right. And I'm sure they've got teams of people, not only legal, but all the, directors and artists that, these things, I'm sure as soon as they released all these Marvel films and the ideas for them, that they had to map this kind of stuff out way in advance.
Well, like I said, I think they're still working it out. Although I have a really interesting thing that I saved on the computer here. I will post it on our Facebook page, and maybe I'll even post it on our website. It's a pictogram somebody made of the Marvel properties and who owns them.
Uh-huh.
And what's interesting is you see how, in the rights, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver bleed over between the two studios. You can also see things like who owns Namor. It's a completely different studio. One that hasn't even been a player yet owns Prince Namor, who is important in Avengers, who is important in Fantastic Four, is kind of out there floating on his own. You also see, very clearly X-Men and Fantastic Four owned by Fox, and it makes you realize, like, wow, and it shows all the characters, or some of the characters that are in these universes that will eventually, get their own thing. For like Spider-Man, it shows Spider-Man, Venom, all the, Sinister Six, and all those characters. I believe Blade, and that whole world of like the dark Marvel stuff, like Morbius and Blade, those are all there. This pictogram's pretty cool. It's not complete, but it does give you a really cool sense of who's got what and what they can do with it. Now, I'm going to go one step further from what we're both saying here. There was another bit of news this week, or it was in the news. It's not necessarily news, but it was talking about exactly what we're discussing here. How I think it was Kevin Feige was saying that, or oh man, it might not be him. I wish I could find the article. I can't find it here. But whoever it was is a high up and was saying there could be a day that we will start making these deals. That you could see Spider-Man in an Avengers film. You could see Wolverine as an uncanny Avenger. And what they were saying is that the liaisons between the studios, it's basically just a couple of people that are working these things out, and they're all kind of on board to make it happen. It's all a matter of what are the terms and how do we come to this agreement. It's just like when they did Roger Rabbit. There was a lot of negotiation that went into that. When Bugs Bunny and Mickey Mouse were both in that film, part of the negotiation with that was it had to be the exact same amount of screen time. To the split second, like the number of frames that Mickey Mouse is in it, Bugs Bunny had to be in it. The amount of dialogue and the length of dialogue, it had to be exactly the same. And even though that can be a hindrance, that might be what opens the door to making this happen. I'm telling you, I want to see Spider-Man and the Avengers. I want to see Wolverine and the Avengers. I want to see all that happen. I want to see Daredevil and Spider-Man together. I want to see Punisher and Spider-Man together.
I want to see the Scarlet Witch, Catwoman.
Catwoman's in DC.
I'm going across all the lines here.
Black Widow,
the Black Widow, and
Kate Upton,
Jane Grey, and anybody else that just kind of wants to join the fun.
Agent Scully.
Yeah.
It'll be like the Expendables. You know how they're doing the all-female Expendables movie, but it'll be Jack's Expendables.
That's right. Instead of Charlie's Angels,
Jack's Avengettes. And it'll be just this hodgepodge. Like, really, Jack? That's not even a comic book character. It's Agent Scully and Kate Upton. They're in.
Right. What else do you want? Really? Come on.
Right.
Doesn't
have to be the greatest movie ever. So go ahead.
Going back to the movie, and of course, I'm doing the Blacklist podcast with a big fan of James Spader.
Yeah.
And who's
Ultron.
He's Ultron. He's gonna.
Yeah.
that is just going to be great because
I know.
he's just got that knack, and if they put any of his personality into that, man, it's just going to be killing.
Well, his personality and his voice are the reason he's Ultron. There's no way, look at his body type, there's no way they're suiting him up and making him this, sleek, robot-looking, Tony Stark-ish. No, it's going to be all CGI.
Oh, yeah.
You'll probably see, I don't know if you'll ever see anything of James Spader there, although he might be doing a little motion capture, but I doubt it. It's probably all voice and personality, and he's going to be awesome.
Now, Ultron, he's all Android, or
yes,
is okay.
Yes.
So we
the reason
really
I said
we don't. I mean, we I don't think that we really need to see his face, but
no. The reason I said that though is you do have James Spader, so there might be some way that they incorporate him.
I mean, kind of like a Darth Vader kind of thing, where you see the face under the mask,
something, or I was thinking more like RoboCop. Like there is something of the face that you see. But, that would not match up to the comics, and I get that. But you do have James Spader. I mean, there's a possibility. Maybe you can utilize him in some way. I don't care. I think he's going to be great. I don't care if it's just his voice. And I think he's going to be menacing and crazy. Now, did you hear the other thing about Avengers? The big rumor about it's actually about Captain America, but it ties into Avengers. The rumor about Nick Fury. Did you hear that?
Just that he's going to be in the movie, but
yeah, that he's prominent. Well, no, they're in the trailer. In one of the trailers, he makes a reference. Cap makes a reference to Nick Fury would have wanted it that way, or something like that. And people are speculating that Nick Fury dies in this. Now, I'm totally down with that because if you read the comics, how many times has freaking Nick Fury died and been brought back? Oh. So it makes perfect sense to me.
Right. Well, I mean, if they're going to use all their resources to bring back Agent Coulson,
right,
who is at least a couple pegs down the line,
well, that could make sense with this too. We saw how they brought Coulson back. Why can't we see Nick Fury die and know that he's going to get put back together the way Coulson was? Why not, right?
Oh, it would be great. And if they could come up with whatever he did for Coulson, they got to come up with something even better for Fury.
Yeah, I don't want him going to Tahiti.
No. Because that's the thing is Nick already knows what's going on, so anything...
Yeah, he doesn't need that implant in his head, right?
Right.
And maybe that's just it. Maybe that whole Coulson project was because he knew inevitably this is what's going on. You know what? I just had another thought. You know how they keep denying that there are psychics and all that stuff? They keep bringing that up. Well, maybe Nick Fury is working with a character that tells him, you are going to die in this instance. And he did this whole project with Coulson as a result of that to bring himself back. They used Coulson as the guinea pig. Can we bring him back? They did it. Now Nick Fury knows, look, I can die and be brought back. It's no big deal.
Right.
Maybe that's what that really is. And we'll also then it'll get revealed hey, there is psychic stuff out there. I think it's kind of cheesy because, like I've said before, I think it's lame that they keep saying that doesn't exist when you've got the God of Thunder flying around. Oh, but people can't read minds or tell the future. I mean, I think that's ridiculous.
Of course. Well, I just think that's a little subterfuge that they put in there on purpose because right in the background is the clairvoyant who's kind of moving in on this, and I think...
Who is clairvoyant, we're assuming.
Yeah, and of course, if that's the case, he's reading minds, he's predicting the future, and so I think it's just to build up the character of the clairvoyant to say how impossible this is that he's really this much locked into what the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is doing. But he is, and I think that's just for our benefit.
Yeah, I still think it's kind of cheesy, but you know what? We suspend a lot of disbelief here. I'm willing to suspend.
Right. And I think that's what they're trying to force us into.
Now, have you seen, switching gears here, have you seen any of the stuff or read any of the stuff about All Hail the King?
No, nothing about that.
Okay. Thor the Dark World. On the DVD, it is coming with All Hail the King, which is one of those Marvel one-shots, but it is featuring Ben Kingsley as, the Mandarin, in my opinion, but as, what's his name, Kevin whatever?
Right.
It's that character, it's him, the preview is fantastic. You really need to make an effort to see it. because it definitely has this feel like a TV show, you know, kind of a 70s or 80s TV show. It's got this, or Trevor Slattery, that was his name. It takes place right after Iron Man 3, and he's in a prison. And it's supposed to be like a documentary interviewing Trevor, but it has this like cheesy 80s feel to it. It's so great. I mean, I think there's like a minute of it. Once again, you can find that at either joeblow.com or I know for sure it's Superhero Hype. It's just fantastic. And there was also a review of it I read because one group already, they reviewed the DVD or the Blu-ray for Thor: The Dark World, and they talked about All Hail the King. And they didn't give any spoilers other than they were raving about it. And one of the things they said is the cameo at the end, just like Marvel does, where it has that end credit thing, they said it's worth watching the whole thing for what happens in the last 10 seconds.
Ah.
So, you know what? I don't care about the last 10 seconds. I'm so excited to watch this thing. And I think it's like a 20-minute film all about Trevor Slattery. And I know that character took a lot of heat because of, he's supposed to be the Mandarin and he was just this bumbling actor. I still say he's the Mandarin. That he will grow into being the Mandarin. The real Mandarin.
Yeah, even if he doesn't, maybe that was... Or it could be the case of the Joker that falls into the vat when he's trying to bug.
That's exactly it. I think that he's going to be made into that character, and it's going to be because of the events that we saw unfold there.
Yeah. And can you imagine Ben Kingsley when he gets into full stride on that, and now he is the Mandarin? I mean, we haven't even seen this, but I think we've got some good predictions.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? You know what really stinks? We're sitting here talking about this. It actually came out this week. It came out on February 25th. So we have got to get our hands on this thing and talk about it on one of these upcoming Nuff Sets because I'm telling you, it's getting great reviews and it looks so awesome.
That sounds really cool.
So we'll be down with that one. There was other news. You know what? Once again, let's shift gears a little bit. Doctor Strange is back on the plate. We keep hearing rumors that that's going to be one of the upcoming movies, but they haven't announced anything officially. Well, one thing that did come out is they are definitely looking for a director for it.
Ah.
And once again, it came out that, and I believe it was Kevin Feige again, because he's the main guy, came out and said all these rumors about actors that have come out about, Johnny Depp playing Doctor Strange. He said that's all false. Now, that could be a smokescreen, but I actually kind of believe him. He said, if you look at the movies we do, a lot of them that we use for main characters are not big movie stars. They're kind of, emerging movie stars, other than like Robert Downey Jr. For Robert Downey Jr., I mean, he was already a big name.
Right.
And him being the tentpole, that makes perfect sense, right? But for everyone else, he's like, no, we got kind of up-and-comers. Now, does that mean for Doctor Strange they'll do that? No. I would like to see like a George Clooney play Doctor Strange. I think that would be amazing.
Oh,
forget Johnny Depp. Get somebody like him.
Right, that can put that kind of twist on it, but has that, can really kind of control it. Because sometimes Johnny Depp can't control the crazy.
Make him an actor like that. Now, and I love Johnny Depp. I think he'd be great, but I also think we've seen him do those kind of oddball characters a lot, and I don't think Doctor Strange should be oddball. I think he should be commanding. I think he should be very strong with that weird sense about him, which I'm telling you, George Clooney is the guy. He has that. At least that's like my dream cast for that. Oh, I bet people hate that one too. Like, oh, why do you want that guy? I think he'd be great.
Yeah, this is going to be a great time for Marvel.
Oh, it is.
All around.
Did you see the Guardians of the Galaxy preview?
I did not.
Jack, every question I ask, you have got to, when we finish this podcast, you need to immediately go on and download the preview, the trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy. It is fantastic.
All right.
I'm telling you, this thing is going to be a huge movie. It is such a pleasure. I had Martha and Molly watch it with me, and they even loved it, and they were both like, what's this? Talking raccoon, talking tree, what is this? It's so good, and it looks like just the perfect mix of like action, comedy. It looks like kind of like a prototype Marvel film.
Very cool. Now, when is this coming out?
Okay, let's give some dates here. So Guardians of the Galaxy is this year. It comes out August 1st.
Oh, so that's soon.
Yeah, well, okay, here's the plate. Coming up real soon. Captain America Winter Soldier comes out April 14th. Okay, that's going to be incredible. If you haven't watched the previews for that, which you're going to go, no, I haven't, it's great. And the Falcon is in it, which I'm excited about. Definitely it's got, the Black Widow in it. It just looks really, really great. Spider-Man 2, Amazing Spider-Man 2, comes out May 2nd. And that looks like it's going to be crazy. And I'm really hoping that they pull it off. I really think they will, but I'm really hoping that Mark Webb pulls this thing off. He got his feet wet with the first one. I think this time he knows what he's doing. And yeah, it's a lot of bad guys in this thing, but I think it's going to be awesome. I don't think it's going to be muddy. I don't get that sense. X-Men, Days of Future Past, same month, May 23rd it comes out. So we're talking, 2 months from now. We're going to have Spider-Man, X-Men, and Captain America all out.
Cool.
And that one looks incredible. Now, that one is a lot of fun. If you go online and you start searching for trailers, they did these viral videos. Like they did one about Trask Industries. Not the most exciting, but it's cool. And it shows you that the Sentinels are coming. The best one that I thought was the Magic Bullet one, where it shows how Eric, Magneto, was arrested for manipulating the second bullet that killed JFK. And it's a really great little piece, and then there's a website for it. But the website didn't do anything for me, but that little short clip I loved. And the preview for Days of Future Past is absolutely awesome. This movie is going to be fantastic. And they're also doing a different thing. Like the Spider-Man trailers, they're like going for length. Like every trailer is like 10 minutes long, it feels like. With this, they did a trailer that's a Vine video. It is 10 seconds, 6 seconds. I mean, something ridiculous like that. And even that, you're like, it shows you a few characters, and that little bit made me say, oh yeah, I'm down with this movie. I'm totally in. Because it just looks really, really cool, even in this little 6 second bite, or 10 second, or whatever it is. Okay, and then Guardians of the Galaxy comes out August 1st, and I'm already in line, so they need to just take my money. Then, let's go 1 year from now, May 1st, Avengers 2, which we all know is going to be a killer. Now, here's where there's question. June 19th, Fantastic Four. I am ready for that. I think the casting is fine. I'm not worried about it. I think it's going to be great. Ant-Man comes out July 3rd, and then we'll stop there because it just keeps going on and on and on and on. The only other thing I want to hit on this one is March 18th on ABC. There is a special called Assembling the Universe, and it's going to be like an hour-long special all about Marvel and the cinematic universe, and they're going to show clips of not only things promoting Captain America and Guardians of the Galaxy, but they have clips they're showing from Avengers 2.
Cool.
This is our first time really seeing anything, so I am
when
really
is this
excited.
again?
March 18th, Assembling the Universe. Set your DVR. Do not miss it. Anybody. It's going to be great.
Cool. And, of course, you mentioned the Ant-Man cast, and Variety's reporting that actor Patrick Wilson is talking about being the upcoming Ant-Man. And
really? Because I thought Paul Rudd was playing Ant-Man.
It says to land the last major role for Marvel's upcoming Ant-Man movie, which stars Paul Rudd. So I don't know if that's
playing Ant-Man. He's probably playing a villain or a main character of some sort. Because Michael Douglas is playing Hank Pym, who is the original Ant-Man, and then, or at least that's what they're speculating. And Paul Rudd is playing the current Ant-Man in the film. That's another one. If you can get your hands on the video that they showed at Comic-Con, I think it was like a year ago, it was just a little test footage of Ant-Man. Oh my gosh, it's exciting. And that was just a little test footage thing, and you watch it, and you're like, how's this movie going to work? Then you see that, and you're like, take my money. It looks awesome.
So, actually, the funny comment there is somebody says, can't think of any prominent Ant-Man villains. Could this guy be Eric O'Grady?
Don't know what that is. So I'm going to say yes.
He's got it in parentheses, the irredeemable Ant-Man. So I'm assuming that's...
Oh.
Is that the anti-Ant-Man?
Yeah, you know what? I think I know what that is. That could be what they're doing here. Oh, that's interesting. Interesting. Okay.
So you've got the current Ant-Man, the retired Ant-Man, and the anti-Ant-Man.
Yeah. Ooh, boy. Sounds like the ante is getting kind of high for this. Ba-doom. All right. Do you have anything else? Because I want to end this up here. I don't want to take too much time with this. I want to get into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. this next week. So do you have any other news you want to touch on?
No, if you want to talk a little about Tahiti, the fate of Sky, we got a little...
Wait, tell me.
On this one, Tahiti, and they've got Tahiti as an acronym this time. It's not just referencing a place.
Oh, what?
Yeah, T.A.H.I.T.I. And that's... It's not saying what the acronym is for.
No, but it's an acronym. Oh, interesting.
Right. It's not just a random place that they put in his head. This is an actual... And they're enlisting the aids of Ward's former SO, which is John Garrett.
Yep.
And that's going to be Bill Paxton. And not only, shocking truths about his own life, but we're going to find out a whole lot about Sky on this. And
oh, man. So this is what's coming up this next episode?
It is.
Well, there's actually, I think Garrett is on 4 upcoming episodes. So we're going to have a lot of storyline with this guy.
Yeah, it's going to take us into, the next month of shows, this storyline, I think.
Oh,
and written by Jeffrey Bell and directed by Bobby Roth.
Excellent. Oh, I can't wait to get into it.
Yeah, this is going to take us in, once we get back to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and then there's just going to be a barrage of these movies to talk about, and I don't know if there's a better time to be talking about Marvel right now.
No. Well, and you know what? I want to just pimp one quick thing, and then we'll wrap this up. Coming up in March, we are going to have a couple of special guests. I'm not going to reveal who they are, but we have got a couple of guests that are going to be on that are really excited to be on our show, and we're just excited to talk all sorts of Marvel stuff with them. So it'll be the first in our series of guests that we're going to have on. So just a little teaser. That's going to be in March.
Great. Can't wait for it.
Yeah. So let's end it there. Thank you for listening, everybody. This has been a blast. We can't wait to talk to you this week with the new Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and it's just all gaining momentum now. Follow us on Facebook. You can follow the Nuff Said podcast there. You can also follow me on Twitter at rsouthgate, and you can follow Jack at...
Jay Wengroski, and at the Blacklist podcast if you want to jump in.
Oh, you're doing that one too, huh? And then our Twitter for this is at Nuff Said Podcast. So if you want to jump on that one, basically when we have new episodes, we put them on Twitter. If we see any cool news, we'll tweet things out occasionally. We're hoping to get a lot more dialogue going with that. And in fact, from Nuff Said and from our various personal ones, we're going to start trying to do some live tweeting and things during the show. So join in with us. Get on board. We can't wait to get the conversation going.
Awesome. And want to remind everybody, every podcast, I use my tweaked audio headphones. I'm using them now. Go to the website, the SMG.
Yeah, go to southgatemediagroup.com. There is a link to the tweaked audio headphones site. Click on that, and it says to use the coupon code Southgate, and you get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. And those headphones, Jack, you're using them. What do you think?
Oh, I like them. Good bass response, and the best thing was the 30% discount.
Yeah, you gotta like that, huh? 30% is a heck of a discount.
And it comes with a little bag. So you can, instead of stick them in your pocket, you can protect them. And, hey,
nice.
for the price, these are some real good little headphones.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm all about getting those wood ones. I'm going to be getting some of those soon.
I bet you got a wood one.
Because they're just very cool. You stop that, sir. Okay, let's wrap it up. Thanks again for listening, everybody. That's it. I am Rollicking Rob Southgate.
I am Jabbing Jack Wengroski.
Until next time, enough said.
Enough said.
If you would like to donate to help pay for this and other Southgate Media Group podcasts, simply go to our website, southgatemediagroup.com, and click on the donate button. It can be as little as $1 or, well, as much as you want. Help keep this fun going by supporting this and our other shows. Thanks again for listening, everyone. You're the best fans in the world.